Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I'm doing something a little different. In this video I'm going to be complaining about things that don't matter and drawing things that are relevant to the topic, I guess. Textures edition. Calling it an edition implies that this is a special video that goes along with an existing series, but that's not true. This is the only one. Quite a few of them are texture based, so that's why we're here. But I have other pointless stuff to talk about, so who knows? Maybe I'll make a more general one eventually. I wanted to make this video earlier, but every time I recorded, my cat would jump on my lap and start purring loudly. But eventually I thought back to all the videos I've made thus far, and she's been on my lap for a lot of them. I was also kind of insecure about any clicks on the mic and whatever, but it's not like I'm gonna invest in an even better mic and sound shields, and I don't know how any of this works, but whatever. Back to the cat. If you hear purring, movement, then that's probably why. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not trying to be overly negative or anything. This video is just for fun. If you hate the texture of anything, comment below and tell me about it. Maybe we relate. So without further ado, let's start with ribbon. Whenever I brought this up to people in real life, I'd usually make the distinction that I'm talking about cheap ribbon because that's the only ribbon I recall touching. But something tells me I wouldn't like any ribbon. When I was helping my mom shop for stuff at a craft store last year, I felt disgusted by all the options I was looking at regardless of the price tag, so whatever, I'm calling ribbon ribbon. I bought some to make LPS skirts and bows a while back, and after experiencing the grating, evil sensation of that shit rubbing against my fingers, I eventually put it in storage to never see the light of day again. And I hate that. I hate being wasteful. But I'm not willing to suffer like that. Suppose I actually finish the LPS clothes. I'd have to touch them and put them on my LPS, and why would I do that to myself? I remember people were excited that LPS started coming out with fabric accessories again, and having to touch those bows out of the box was torture enough. So why add more fuel to the fire, you know what I mean? I think the exception to this rule would be the really thin ribbon, almost a string, not quite, maybe not string, but think a few millimeters. That I can tolerate. In fact, I have one of those old pink LPS bows on one of my LPS as their main outfit, so I think something about it being older and broken in helps too, but I'm not sure. Next up, we have cardboard. Now, thin cardboard is fine, think cereal boxes and stuff. Thin cardboard, especially with the gloss on it or something, isn't really a problem. In fact, if there's gloss on it, I even enjoy touching it. Plus, the thin stuff has a nice bend and sound when you tap on it. Overall, not a bad experience. What I'm talking about here is the thicker stuff. Think shipping boxes, for example, or moving boxes or something like that. Usually when people get something delivered to the door, they're excited to open it up, reasonably so. Who doesn't like opening up a little something? But when something comes to my door, it takes me a while to build up the courage. It doesn't take me too long to actually bring it inside and throw it on the shoe mat or a table or something, since I'll give my hands a wash after and the sensation kind of disappears. But most days actually opening it poses an issue. It takes me a good few hours or more of it sitting there untouched for me to finally be alright, let's get the job done. Washing my hands also alleviates that. It's just that opening up is more of a prolonged process than just bringing it inside. You have to actually commit to the starting and finishing of opening the box. I don't like this type of cardboard in any setting, but especially when it's a shipping box that's accumulated a lot of grime, it's not my favorite. It's really not. The residue of the grime, the dusty, grainy feeling of the little paper particles making their way between your fingers, the rough yet smooth texture on my fingertips. And don't even get me started on if my fingernails accidentally scrape across the surface. Oh my god, I can't. Even talking about it is making me kind of sick. Sometimes I put gloves on to do it, which helps. I used to work in retail with a lot of opening and stocking with boxes and stuff, and I wore gloves to work every day for this specific reason. Even if the boxes are clean, I don't know, the sensation just lingers. It makes your hands feel hot. It's hard to explain. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend, not that this isn't a common experience that everyone has to deal with now and then or anything. Next up, we have acrylic yarn. When I was a lot younger, I had this phase where I did a lot of crocheting, and since I wanted a bunch of colors, I got acrylic yarn because that was the cheapest. Before that, I got yarn from other people, like my grandma aunt. What do you call that anyway? Your parents' aunt. What is that? A grand aunt? Sure, whatever, let's go with that. We were house sitting for my grand aunt, and she was just cool with me using her yarn. She had a big wall of it, I think. Most of it felt fine, good even. I don't really know what it was made out of. Cotton, maybe? Did they make cotton yarn? I'm not sure. But whatever, that yarn was fine. So when I saw yarn that looked similar at the store, I thought it would be a similar experience. Newsflash, it wasn't. Maybe it's kind of like the ribbon thing, where if it's aged or broken in, it feels better, or maybe yarn production just got shittier and cheaper with time, or maybe it was just a different material like I was speculating earlier. Who knows? All I know is that the yarn I got was disgusting. The person who taught me to crochet too had like a softer yarn that was more tolerable to hold, so I don't know. Maybe I just picked the wrong thing. Not my grand aunt, by the way, it was a different relative. I know part of my issues with yarn is because I held the slack really tight between my fingers and I can't crochet or draw or do anything without squeezing or pressing too hard. At the end of the day, I'm just an ape that doesn't know my own strength, you feel me? Let me loose at the function, and if I get excited enough, I might start ripping faces off. Except the function is crocheting, and instead of ripping off faces, I'm giving my finger crotch rug burn. So the friction between my fingers, at least a couple of my fingers, was on me. But acrylic yarn overall gives me that same disgust reaction that cardboard does. It makes my hands feel grainy, it makes my skin feel hot even outside of the areas with friction. It's scratchy. You're telling me people wear that shit on purpose? I don't get it. The moment I go to a store and I see a sweater, I'm too scared to even touch that, because you know most of the time it's gonna be acrylic. I don't get the appeal, I'd rather just live without sweaters. I hate it. I really do. Luckily, years later, I could give it to my spouse's mom, who actually crochets and can use it and whatever, so that's good. Or maybe it's just sitting in her closet, so I've just displaced the burden onto somebody else. But there's a better chance of it being used than the ribbon rotting away in my closet, I'll tell you that much. You know what? Since I brought up clothes, I'm gonna talk about synthetic fabrics next. Or just clothes, I don't know. I'm not talking about blankets or anything, except Sherpa blankets. I hate Sherpa. Convincing people to wear plastic is a scam in itself, but whatever, that's a conversation for another day. I prefer cotton, and if my clothes dare to be a mixed fabric, I need them to be at least 66% cotton. I know that number sounds so specific that it almost seems fake, but I pay close attention to these things. You'd be surprised how often I run into textiles that are like 66% cotton and 34% polyester. If cotton is the majority, it's usually alright. In those situations, it's often a cotton hoodie or something with like a fuzzy inner lining of polyester, which makes it way worse, because after you dry it a few times, it pills, and the graininess of that is really irritating. If I want graininess, give me a cotton graininess, not this shit. If you're watching this and you happen to be involved in hoodie manufacturing, do me a favor, and if you really want to keep that stupid polyester lining, at least keep it off the arms. Put it on the torso section and I'll just wear a tank top underneath or something. But please, keep it off the arms. I've learned to tolerate that feeling if I wear a specific item enough, but if I take a break, like putting my favorite hoodie to the side over the summer and then wear it again when it cools down, it's suddenly horrible. I have to slowly microdose wearing the hoodie over time until it feels normal. Polyester and nylon and spandex and whatever else also makes my body an unpleasant hot as opposed to warm. At least if it's just lining on the inside. I know athletic clothes are meant to be cooling and it's all synthetic, so like maybe I'm technically incorrect. It's just not for me. It usually makes me overheat, which isn't a texture thing, but who cares about staying on topic? I have shit to say. I bought a suit made of synthetic fabrics once because I guess I just wanted to be special and not get a dress for an occasion, and that was a damn mistake. Simply touching it with my fingers to put it on was horrible. The feeling on my arms was unpleasant, too grainy and scratchy. Hard pass. On the bright side, I'm not as sensitive to the feeling when it's on my legs. Like if I'm wearing loose athletic shorts or something. If they're loose, they don't trap too much heat, the feeling is smooth. It's just anywhere else it feels wrong and it makes me mad. I'm so picky, I wouldn't even say cotton is safe all the time. Not too long ago, I bought some cotton pants, but when I actually wore them for the first time, the seams from the pockets made me very irritated. I wanted pants, not razor blades. I don't know if any of you have been in a situation where you've had to walk around with wet jeans, but I'd say it put me on the same level of discomfort. Luckily, the store took returns. I'm at a point now where I never try anything new. If the item doesn't fit my super specific requirements of fit, heaviness, material percentage, I don't bother. Which is fine. I don't need more clothes anyway. I don't want to be a liar either, so I will say there's exceptions to my rules here and there. This is just a general sentiment I have about clothing textures, so for the most part, I'm sticking to it. Anyway, I think this video is long enough. I don't want CapCut to start lagging, and something about complaining about such small non-issues has me feeling this vague sensation of self-disgust. Like I said before, it's just for fun. I promise I'm not trying to make these minuscule non-problems into a serious thing. I just like making lists about random things, so I figured I'd pick one and make a video about it. I have a lot of other textures to go through, plus other dumb pet peeves, so let me know if you'd like to see me complain about more pointless stuff that doesn't matter at all. There's plenty more where this came from. This video also made me want to talk about textures I love, so maybe I could do something like that too. You know, balance out the needless negativity. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you want, bye!